What's up, party people in the house? I am Jesse Schneeman, and I'm joined by the brains of the operation, Mike Casper and Chad Mendoza. I think I went to you first last week, Mike. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm great. Living in the 90s, baby.
Oh man, this is gonna be a goodie tonight. I can
It
feel
really
it.
is. It really is. I'm really feeling it. We're already on brand by screwing up the first try at this. So we got Mike's kids in the background. I mean, look.
Just got back from a birthday party. You never know.
Yeah. We're so on brand. It's ridiculous tonight. What's going on, Chad? How's life?
Oh, pretty good, man. Just working like crazy, and glad to be done with that and here doing what I like to do. So,
right on.
How about you, Mike? What have you been up to?
Hey, just was in San Antonio today, planning some Army training towards the end of the month. So we're kind of on the home stretch for these cadets. So I'm just ready to get her done and get into the summer portion. Focus more on fantasy, in April and stuff. So
these guys, did these guys actually graduate this year?
No, they graduate next year. But this is to send them to camp this summer. So you go for a month-long camp, and I'll be gone for a month too, just like last year.
Oh, you go with them?
Yeah, to Fort Knox.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, yeah, we did. I remember that last year. Yeah. So we'll be without you for about 6 weeks, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, but well, probably 4, hopefully. Not too much more. But.
Okay. No, that's okay. Actually, yeah, now that I remember, you did a show or two from it was like a little room or whatever. And they were like
really poor audio quality and just going in and
Army
out.
cadets running around behind you.
Yeah.
Super
fun.
Yeah, I thought I saw like a oh, never mind. A blow-up dollar too. Floating around.
Be quiet,
gosh.
Jesse. Let's not get into that, okay?
All right, we're having fun tonight.
Speaking of news,
yeah. We all know we all know what's going on with Russ and Denver and Seattle, right? So actually, what I do want to do is, Mike, let's get a victory lap, my friend. What are your thoughts? What are your hopes? What are your dreams?
So, sorry, I got to rewind it back a little bit. Okay, 2015, when they were going to Super Bowl 50, I told my wife, I said, man, I will watch the Broncos have a losing season for 5 years if they just win this Super Bowl.
Wow.
Little did I know, I jinxed them. They did win the Super Bowl. I watched some terrible football for 5 years, and then right on cue, we traded for Russell Wilson. I mean, end of the day, I was jumping up and down screaming in my office. Everybody asked what was going on. When I told them, they were just like, they looked at me like I was weird. So, but I was just ecstatic as a Broncos fan to be able to.
Man, I understand as an Eagles fan.
Yeah,
I made multiple deals with the devil in 2017 as an Eagles fan. So
yeah, right.
I get it. I totally got it.
That's what I did because I thought we had no chance to win that Super Bowl. So I was like, whatever, I'll do whatever for the next 5 years. And
same.
That's what made me get into fantasy more, to be honest. The Broncos weren't as good, so I was like, man, and that kind of drove me towards fantasy more. So I credit that. But yeah, no, I'm just stoked. I don't think we gave up too much in the deal. It was quite a bit, but we didn't give up. I thought we had to give up a wide receiver for sure, either Sutton or Judy. That didn't happen, or Chubb.
Gave up.
So
it really doesn't matter what you guys gave up. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you had the 9 pick really helped you guys. Yeah, really helped you guys get that done. So
thank you, Drew Lock, for losing the last game of the season.
You've been talking up Aaron Rodgers for so long now. Do you feel bad at all?
No.
That
I knew it was one of the 3. I was like, "There's no way."
Would you rather have Russ for longer?
I'd rather have Russ.
I'd rather have Russ personally. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers for the next 2 years, but I'd rather have Russ overall because
for the next 5, maybe 6.
I mean, the way he plays, I would say 6 to 8.
Yeah, who knows?
He didn't miss a game for 6 seasons before this year. He was the Iron Man of the NFL. Yeah. Everybody forgets that.
He doesn't take bad hits.
No, he doesn't. He's a smart player. And I mean, his wife is a handful, as my wife always says. But congratulations, man. I really wanted him to come to Philly, but I knew there was no chance. He
No
wasn't
chance.
coming to the East Coast.
Yeah.
It
Mike,
wasn't happening.
Mike Kinney's in the chat, and he wants to know what our thoughts are on the potential of the Seahawks trading for Watson. But we'll get into that, Mike. We're actually going to play.
I mean, it's obviously
later
huge.
on.
There's a huge potential because they have all that collateral.
Yeah. But Watson's one of the guys we're going to talk about in our game, so we'll I'm sure talk about some of the landing spots.
Right. Yeah. So we will definitely get to Watson. He's pretty high on the list, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's tease it. He's 4th on the list. So we're gonna play a little game tonight. Obviously, we always play games. We party. We have fun. Chad, are you drinking tonight?
I am. I'm gonna go get a beer. So yeah, keep talking, and I'll go get something.
All right, come on back. Mike, what are you drinking tonight?
Coconut berry Red Bull.
Mm,
Delicious.
that sounds disgusting.
It's so good. I thought it would be gross. Like
what's
honestly,
it
just
taste
tastes like berries. I don't really get the coconut flavor.
You don't
in
get
it.
the coconut.
That's why I never drank it for the longest time. I was like, ugh, coconut, gross. But so the berry part, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't do energy drinks. They make me feel really weird. Like my hair is growing. I go the other way. Everybody
Your
knows.
hair is growing at all times, by the way.
No, but like I can feel it, right? So I just I don't know. It's such an odd feeling. I can't stand it. So everybody knows I go the other way. My handle's the herbalist, right? So I'm going like I said, I'm going the other way. But I am, to Dave Donaldson's disappointment, and if any of my friends, my personal friends who have all invited this evening, yes, truly, my friends, I am truly drinking
gone.
Truly. I really like the new
already finished one.
Well, that's actually
3.
that's my 3rd, but I also had 3 Topo Chicos during lunch.
Topo Chicos are great.
Dinner. Yeah, with Topo Chico, they make a hard seltzer now.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, so I had 3 of those while making dinner, and they are really.
I'm surprised I haven't seen that because Texas and Topo Chico are we have pretty synonymous with each other.
We have a Latino mart here called Amigos, and they carry all types of Topo Chico, hard and non-hard, and she turned me onto it because it's just it's just really more fizzy, extra bubbly than a lot of the seltzers out there. I really like it, and there's an underlying flavor to every hard seltzer you get, and either I like it or I don't. And the Topo Chico I like, so it's good.
Nice. Yeah, I'm drinking Yingling Golden Pilsner.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Nice.
Good stuff.
All right. Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Very, very near and dear to my heart. So yeah, and I like that one too, because regular Yingling is corn beer. It's made from corn and it's got its own flavor, and I'm not the biggest fan. I do like their porter though.
Oh yeah, the porter's good. Really good.
Porter's really good. All right, so like I said, we're gonna play a game. Oh no, let's keep on. Let's keep on because can we talk about the Gutless Wonder?
Wentz?
Gutless Wonder.
Yeah,
who that is?
I mean,
is that Carson
Man,
Wentz?
The Tin Man has no heart, has no guts. He goes to the perfect place, right? I mean, the
only place where he can be a leader, the Commanders,
the WTFs. I'm never gonna call them that. By the way, it's insulting to everyone involved except for themselves. I guess they should have named themselves the Red Tails. I'm on record now by saying that. It just pays a lot of heritage to DC's history, our country's history, and the African American history of that city. Which is, I mean, I live there. It's got to be 60-70% African American, and they can pick Commanders, the people who just came in and dominated. Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's move on. So, yeah, I think this is a great fit.
I think it's a ridiculous fit anywhere he goes. He's gutless. I think it's a great fit too, as an Eagles fan, and you as a Giants fan. Is that what you're saying?
No. So honestly, if the Giants were good, which they're not, they're the opposite of good. They're horrendous, right? So it doesn't really matter one way or another. But if they were good, then I'd be worried, because I think this is an opportunity for this offense to be more dynamic, with a quarterback who is, I would say, just above competent, which they haven't had for a long time. I think he's capable of putting together a good enough season to run that offense, especially with a guy like Antonio Gibson, if they can utilize him properly, and Terry McLaurin, who I think is one of the most talented wide receivers in the league. If they add another guy to that offense, especially in a deep wide receiver draft class here,
I mean, the fact that
or if they go out and grab a
yeah, I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah,
I'm
or
sorry,
if they go
I
out and grab like Allen Robinson or a guy like that, I mean, I think this could be a really good offense. That offensive line's not bad. Maybe they just go out and get a tight end as well, and
they might be about to
up.
lose. They might be about to lose the best player on that line, though, if Brandon Scherf doesn't resign.
That's true.
But I mean, I will say that they didn't give up a lot of draft capital to get him. A couple of thirds, only one
absolute steal
and a third next year. Yeah, so
absolute
I mean, not an absolute steal, because this is the kind of guy that he's a franchise killer, man. Like, it's not the Eagles and it's not the Colts. It's him. It's obvious at this point.
I don't think it's that obvious.
I mean, he threw 27 touchdowns, had 7 picks for
he was
good.
Like,
from a fantasy lens.
Out of those 7 picks, 3 of them were
for fantasy. It doesn't matter.
Zach Wilson wouldn't throw that interception.
For fantasy, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so tell me this, right?
As a thing,
if the Colts as a team are that good, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 picks shouldn't be the difference. Like, 3 picks outside of the playoffs shouldn't be the difference on your team entering the playoffs or staying out of the playoffs. Carson Wentz did not lose that season for them. They just weren't good enough. Good enough.
That's
now,
fair.
It's
never the one play at the end of the season. It's a culmination of the entire season. I agree, because they could have won a game or two to not put themselves in that position. However, your quarterback is always going to be in that position at one point before the season ends, right? So either he succeeds or he doesn't.
Wentz,
and
I think Carson Wentz is better than a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL right now that people are paying more for.
So Carson Wentz is a lot better when he's on, right? But the problem is, from a technical standpoint, and for me to stop saying he's gutless and Tin Man, and I'll stop being derogatory about him and actually do some analysis. What happens is his mechanics and his footwork get off. Right. And as soon as there's pressure, he does see ghosts. He does scramble when he doesn't need to. He does kind of turtle when he realizes there's a rush and he didn't see it. And like I said, when he does feel a rush, his footwork and his mechanics get off. And that's the problem with him. So, and the other issue with him is that he doesn't trust the bigger receivers. So with Alshon and Michael Pittman, he doesn't trust them same way Daniel Jones didn't trust Galladay to just kind of throw it up and let them win. He's not really that kind of quarterback, and he won't really do that. So those things.
I think that analysis is a little off with Daniel Jones, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, he didn't do it with Galladay this last season. I'm not.
Yeah, it's because the design wasn't there with. Jason
Garrett. You know what? Yeah, with Jason Garrett, absolutely. So thank you. You're probably right about that. But everything I just said about Wentz is, I mean, I think it's undisputable. We indisputable. Sorry, that's the real word. We've seen it for his entire 5-year career. That's what happens with him is he gets off schedule and he does the wrong thing and his mechanics get off.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I'm not by any means saying that Carson Wentz is a great quarterback. I just think he's the best quarterback in the NFC East, and that's not saying much.
Wow,
it's not
you
saying
think he's better than Hurts? I would take Hurts or Daniel Jones over him.
Well, Dak hasn't been available, right? If
and Dak,
available,
I think he's the worst quarterback in the NFC.
I would take Dak. I would take Dak over him for sure.
I would take Dak, Daniel
Dak
Jones,
to string together a season,
and Hurts over him.
But if I'm the Washington football team, I think I can beat every team in this division with Carson Wentz.
Wow.
That's just the way I feel about it. And I'm a Giants fan, and there's not a team in the NFC East I hate more than the. I don't even hate them anymore though, because after they changed their name, it's kind of a joke franchise. But
yeah, well, they are, and that's why I love this move, because I'm an Eagles fan and I want them to fail. But like on top of everything that I just said, technically, like on a technical analysis football basis, there's also the fact that he doesn't take hard coaching well. It's happened twice, and Ron Rivera is a tough coach, man. Ron Rivera doesn't. He's not a soft coach. He's not a player's coach. I mean, he might be a player's coach, but those players that take the Ron Rivera take the hard coaching, and that's not Carson Wentz. I'm going to
listen.
Tell you that
I remember at the end of the Eagles era that you had Zach Ertz and Carson Wentz and some of the other veteran leaders chopping it up at the end of the last game against the Giants in plain clothes on the sideline after the game when everybody else had left the stadium. Just sitting there chopping it up. And then you have, after he leaves the Colts, players tweeting out, kind of negative sentiments about the Colts kicking him off or sending him away for what they did. So, I just don't think that there's all of this evidence to say that this guy is bad for the locker room or that the team doesn't think much of him. I think
I didn't say any of that, though.
No, but I've been hearing it, right? So I just don't.
I mean, that's on top of everything else I said, though. So you're like disputing things that I didn't even throw out there.
No, but I'm not talking about you, Jesse. Relax.
I know,
but he's talking about the general media towards Wentz. What they're saying.
Okay, but
not you,
what I'm
Jesse.
saying is there's 7 other issues. With
him. But I disagree with you. That's okay. Now I'm just talking about Wentz as a whole. So
yeah, it is okay. Because at his core, he is at his core, he is a supremely talented quarterback that if he really put it all together and fixed his mechanics and got his head right, yeah, absolutely. He could probably be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
But that's the thing either. Like he doesn't have to be a top 10 quarterback. I think if you're paying 2/3 or whatever they did, a second or a third, whatever it was, they're not expecting a top 10 quarterback. They just want a competent quarterback, which I think at worst is what he is.
Yeah, I mean they only paid 2/3, so at worst he's a stopgap for a year. But how many years are going to pay?
I mean, you look at all of the quarterbacks that have been thrown around: the Darnolds, the Bridgewaters, the Fitzpatrick. He's better than all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Noticeably better than all of those guys.
I agree. So, I mean, you never win in anything with any of those. I mean, Darnold's basically unplayable, right? I mean, he's pretty much. They have to replace him this year. Whether it's with a rookie or a veteran that absolutely like a rookie that might replace him after a few games, or a veteran that just outright, beats him in training camp. I don't see how you can just go into a year with Darnold as your quarterback in it, unless you're tanking, which I don't see the Panthers. They can't really do that. And like teams can't really tank in the NFL. There's too much on the line and too much changes from year to year in the NFL. You can't tank.
Yeah. The Sleeper released a notification that I just saw maybe like right before we went live. I don't know if it's true or not, but saying that the Panthers were going to go hard after Watson or something, which is interesting. And wouldn't surprise me at all. But
I think it's obvious. I think it's obvious that they're going to go hard after him. It's whether or not he'll accept to go there.
Yeah, I mean it's near where he used to play college ball, right? So that's
true.
People think the allure might be.
That's true. Yeah.
But at the same time, like it depends what they have to give up. I feel like Panthers don't have a ton, like compared to some of the other teams. Like unless they give up like 3 firsts this year, next year, and the year after,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's gonna take a ton. And man, if imagine this, right? Christian McCaffrey is obviously a much better player than David Johnson, right? But imagine if they gave up Deshaun Watson, and part of that trade was like
Christian McCaffrey,
a first and Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, that would be
can you
stupid
imagine?
that would be stupid as hell.
Oh, it would be hilarious.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past.
I'm considering the nuke for David Johnson.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we
It's a
want the
different
running
regime.
back, throw
It's
in
a
a
different
first. We'll be good.
And your kicker.
Yeah. Do we even know who Washington's kicker is at this point? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Carolina. I have no idea. I haven't played with kickers for years.
Is it Kyle
So-
Allen?
Is that bad?
I do in my redrafts just because I have to. I can't. convince those guys.
After kickers kind of got phased out of like redraft for me, like I don't know any of the kickers anymore. Like,
I don't either. I learned about the Bengals one in the playoffs. Like, cool. That was awesome.
I'm sure if I started playing Madden again, I might learn some of them, but yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. It's the most random thing in football, whether a kicker scores points or not. You know.
All right, let's do
All right.
this. Let's get
Let's play a game. Let's have some fun. I mean, this has been fun so far. I already had an argument between me and Chad, so that's good times.
A debate. We'll call it a debate.
Right on. I mean, I like argument.
Yeah, all right. Well, why not, right?
Yeah, because I mean, when it comes to that player, I'm not debating shit.
I know how much you hate him, but
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to
and
get back into
I really
it,
did try to give like
But-
an unbiased analysis.
But Jesse, you have to give Wentz credit in your Super Bowl run year
Mhm.
for getting the wins to get you in place. Like,
Mm.
just me as a Broncos fan, for Super Bowl 50, Brock
Absolutely.
Osweiler is a terrible quarterback. He was horrible. But if he wouldn't have come in for injured Peyton Manning, we would not have been the number one seed. And if we would not have been the number one seed and played every game at home prior to the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
there is not a chance in hell we would have made it to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
yeah, but that's like a little bit different. Like Wentz was playing at an MVP level. Osweiler,
I
like
know.
a
That's why
five-
I'm
for like a
that's why I'm
5-game
surprised
stretch.
he hates him so much. I'm like,
No,
geez,
but I'm
he
just saying.
he like
I'm just
got
saying
you
with
to like the 10-yard line, and then like Foles took you over it.
Osweiler was like barely better than Peyton Manning, who at that time was like horrendous. So
Well,
it's
that's
not-
But that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Peyton
like,
Manning
hate
had
someone
just
to
such a
hate
rag on him
someone
at
so
that point.
bad that did something so
No, I
special
agree.
to get you there. Like, granted, he didn't win
Like,
it for you.
Mike.
yeah, but
This is
Foles,
the Philly
Foles wasn't
mentality.
getting him there. That's for sure. Foles wasn't.
It's
This
just like, man, give that dude some credit and be like, hey, thank you for your service. Get the hell out of town, or
This
you
is
know,
the
something
Philly
like
mentality, Mike.
It's
Like,
crazy to me.
Well,
Damn.
all right, so like up until that point where like he was diving for that touchdown, and you know he got hit in the knee with that helmet, and
You cried when
yeah.
that happened, didn't you?
yeah, oh my god, I was actually watching that with Christy, and we weren't married at that point, and like I was watching it with her and her kids, and like I jumped up and started screaming, and it was in her house and throwing shit, and like, oh my god, this is it. This is our Super Bowl. We were going to win the Super Bowl, and it's over, and no MVP, blah, blah, blah. And I'm throwing shit around. And now I realize that, like, Nick Foles went on such a hot streak. Who's to say he wouldn't have gone, like, that hot streak couldn't have started before that?
Oh, shut
So,
up!
like-
Let's start our
Oh
game. Let's
gosh,
start
yeah,
our
let's
game.
go. Free agent number 1, bitter Philly fan. Jeez.
All right. We're playing a game. We are playing Free Agent Landing Spot Part 2. So we went over the big names the first time with Jerry, and Chad was the host, and you know he railroaded me out of my win. That's cool. It's all right. I mean this is kind of how this is. Like we branded it that I as much as I want to be the wild card Charlie Kelly, really I'm just Dennis, and you're all sons of bitches, and I'm pissed off at all of you. So that's that's how it goes. You guys are the brains of the operation, and I just alternate between always sunny characters.
Your
All right.
alter egos.
At some point, I'm gonna turn into Frank, and that's when you're in trouble.
Good show. I just started rewatching some of it, and man,
Yeah, it's
that
amazing.
episode with the play was just horrendously amazing.
Nightman.
So, yes.
Oh, it's just such a masterpiece. Oh my god. It's,
If you haven't seen it, watch that episode. I wish I knew what it was called. It's everybody that likes
It's
cinema.
I think it's just called Dayman, actually.
Yeah, just gold.
Yeah,
Pure
I
comedy
mean,
gold.
it's what we aspire to be, basically. If we can get to that level of beautiful chaos, that's when this show will be at its pinnacle, right?
All right, player number 1.
Mike's so sick of it.
Mike's ready to go.
30 minutes in.
All right, so number 1 is we're gonna go with not a skill position. We're going offensive tackle Teron Armstead. The Saints were not able to tag him because apparently for one team in the NFL, the salary cap is real. So Teron Armstead, the absolute best left tackle, franchise left tackle on the market. Mike, who's he going to?
Go to Chad.
Wow.
I'm going to defer to Chad, and I'll take second pickings here.
You're losing 1/10 of a point for that. Chad, who's Teron Armstead going to?
Teron Armstead is going to the I was about to call them the San Diego Chargers. He's going to the LA Chargers. You know, pair him with Rashawn Slater and get that offensive line back to its pinnacle. And I think he needs to go to a competing roster, right? I mean, that's the only people that are gonna really shell out for him that I think he could be, really effective in that offense. I don't think he's going to want to end up somewhere like, the Bears or something after that stint in New Orleans. So that's just where I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna want to go to a winning roster, and that's just where I think would be a good fit.
Right on. I agree. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going to say the Bengals.
Okay.
So after what happened in the Super Bowl, right, with the what was it, like 9 sacks or 7 in the second half, whatever it was, when you're talking about compete, ready to compete now, win now teams that need to get that last piece on the line. We all know Joe Burrow needs it, and I think it'd be great for him. So let's get him to the Bengals.
All right. So yeah, right on. What I want to know is who's got more, because these are both great landing spots. I would love to see him in both of those places. So who's got more cap space?
Well, with the trade of Khalil Mack, I know the Chargers went down a little bit.
I think they both have enough, though. They're both above 20. They're both above 20 mil. They both have enough.
Yeah, I see Chargers at 23 and Bengals actually with 34. So that's the tiebreaker for me. So Mike, you get the point. So I think those are both excellent landing spots. Both of those are first-rate offenses that need a left tackle. Really good. The landings, like I said, the tiebreaker is the cap space because he's the premier tackle on the market. So the team with the most money wins. Any arguments on that?
No. I mean, no, not really.
That's pretty fair logic, right?
Yeah. I don't mind.
Pretty off-brand for me, but there you go. The only other one. So, like, I had thought of those both when I came up with this, and the only other one that I thought worked a little less because they don't have the cap space is the Rams because of Wentworth and their ability and their willingness to go all in on any player. With the cap space, they would have probably been like more of a 4, right? Instead of a 5 in this.
Yeah. How much cap space? Oh yeah, they're like 20 mil under the cap right now.
Yeah.
I mean over 20 mil over the cap. Sorry. Yeah.
They would have to do a little more dancing than the other teams, right? Because they have other. I mean, all teams have holes they need to fill, but the Rams, I think, they're more studs and duds than other teams. So they have more holes, right? All right, so Mike's up 1 point, and next was so pissed we didn't get to cover him on our first show. Chad didn't bring him up, but Allen Robinson, my boy from Penn State, where's he going, Chad? I mean, sorry, Mike.
Yes,
he deferred the first time.
Sorry. Yeah, it was just like kickoff, right? I won the coin toss.
I guess.
Hey, so as far as Allen Robinson goes, I don't think this is the most, awesome fantasy position, but I just feel like it's where it's going to be. And I think he's going to go to the Patriots. I think he can be the de facto number one for Mac Jones, kind of help his game out, kind of be relevant again. He really just, petered out in, with the Bears. And I think he just needs an accurate quarterback that can get him the ball. So we could talk about one of these higher profile places. I've already taken a lot of them, those for my choosing, though. So I'm gonna say Patriots, and he'll be Mac Jones's number one there.
All right. So Patriots, number one wide receiver, boundary guy, ex wide receiver for the Pats. What do you say, Chad?
All right. Yeah, I kind of alluded to this before, and maybe this is like deducting a point from me because I know Jesse's feelings on this team. But I'm going to go Washington. I think you pair him up with Terry McLaurin and Carson Wentz in that offense. I think he can do a lot of damage there. I think he's going to want to be in an offense that is dynamic, and I think that offense is going to be dynamic with the state of that offensive line, with the running back they have there, with the wide receivers they have there. And there's no third real threat unless De'Ami Brown, magically appears. There's no third guy that's going to eat up any amount of time there for him. He's a different player than Terry McLaurin. Terry has a good amount of speed to him that can really compensate on some of those deeper routes and opening up the underneath spots for Allen Robinson. And he's also just a jump guy that, Terry McLaurin's kind of not. So I think it's a perfect pair.
Right on. Okay. So I do think Allen Robinson can get some separation, which is something that Wentz needs and looks for. I do think that's a good fit. I don't think Carson Wentz is anything above league average at best. But I also don't think that Mac Jones is anything above league average at best at the moment. He may take a leap forward, but from what we've seen from him, he's content to take a check down. They don't take a lot of shots downfield.
Who is his number one wide receiver?
Nelson Aguilar, I believe.
Okay, who is his second wide receiver?
I think
Kendrick Bourne?
I think with the Patriots,
point taken.
I would just want
absolutely
a wide receiver that offers some dynamism in that offense with Mac Jones' skill set.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't draft someone too.
Yeah. I
would just want multiple options that add some of that.
I actually think the receivers they have dynamism in Bourne and Aguilar. There's no consistency in either one of them.
Yeah.
So all right, here's what I think. I think that he's a good fit anywhere. Allen Robinson is a separator. He's an X. He's a boundary receiver. It's hard to find. And I do think that he can fit into almost any system. I wouldn't want to see him go to Tennessee. That would be like a 1 or a 0 for me, right? Because I don't think he fits there with Tannehill. But these two, I think, are pretty good fits. I don't think that either quarterback is elite, right? As much shit as I just talked about Carson Wentz, I do think that Allen Robinson is the type of receiver that Wentz needs. And having McLaurin to take some pressure off of him is, I think, a good thing. And I think that in New England, he's also what they need because they do have some downfield threats that aren't consistent. And Allen Robinson is consistent and will get open in your intermediate routes where you really need a first down. The thing that takes a little hit for the Pats for me is the loss of Josh McDaniels. So I don't know that their offense is going to be as nuanced and is going to utilize skill sets as well as they have in the past without Josh McDaniels. Because I really think that he is an excellent offensive mind. Even though he failed in Denver, I don't think it was because he doesn't know how to run an offense. I think it's because he didn't at the time know how to run an NFL team. Right. Yeah. So for all of those reasons, I'm giving you guys a tie. It's 3-3. I think they're both good answers, not great.
There you go.
Any arguments?
I mean, yeah, I think my answer was better, but yeah,
I think mine was too. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. So next,
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the background noise I'm hearing?
probably my kids watching some movie.
I know. Beside the kids, no, that's fun. That's just fun. There's like a little beep 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 beep. Ah, it's gone.
I
now.
hear singing for sure.
Nah, it actually just went away, so we're good. We're moving on. Christian Kirk. All right, so this is a guy that I think people see as a sort of a lower tier wide receiver. However, I feel like he's getting a lot of like upper tier NFL buzz. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I was really stuck with this one. I didn't know what to do as far as where to send him. There was 3 teams I was really close on, but I was thinking of a team that's probably going to want a low cost option at wide receiver who could maybe bring in another guy in the draft, who has a good, what I would call X wide receiver already in place. A team I think that either has a good quarterback in place or can bring in a good quarterback. And I think this team has to bring in a good quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Colts.
Like,
I think he's going to be a really good pair with Pittman already there. I think their skill sets kind of complement each other. I think Kirk is one of those guys that is. I mean, he's a fast receiver, but he's quicker than he is fast. I think his quickness is a little bit underrated. So I think he can do a little bit more of that under the that kind of intermediate and short route work, while Pittman kind of stretches the field a little bit. They get him on those deep routes and the intermediate routes. I just think they would play really well together. I think the Colts have to bring in a good quarterback, whether that's Deshaun Watson, whether that's
I think they're a really good complement to each other. Different skill sets that complement each other. Absolutely.
Yep.
Like
So,
Kirk is
like
the faster, quicker, where Pittman is the guy that can handle the boundary.
Yeah.
Get those 2 guys on a crosser. It's trouble for a defense.
Yeah, and I think if the Colts are going to bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson, then they're not going to have the picks to go and spend a high value pick on a wide receiver. And if they're paying Deshaun Watson, they're not going to go out and buy the splash wide receiver.
Right.
So I think they bring in a guy like Christian Kirk, who's a good wide receiver. What was he drafted in the 2nd round, right?
Yep.
He tested well. His measurables.
I mean, he's
really
fast
good.
and he's quick, and I think he's been
strong hands. I mean, I think he can get the job done there. I don't think
he's been used well. To be,
I think he's getting miscast as
absolutely.
more of a slot receiver, and he's been playing outside a lot more. Than I think
right. I see him more of a Z kind of move guy. Or he's not necessarily.
I mean, that's what he came to the league
only.
as. He was supposed to be. I mean, he was supposed to be a guy that could become a premier slot wide receiver, and I think he can still become that.
I mean, he can play the outside, but not necessarily like. Not necessarily like always the boundary guy. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that's versatile, but you just want him to do most of his damage in the slot. That's what he's just always done.
Right.
It's what he's shown that he's best at. And they really didn't let him, to be honest.
Sure. I hate when guys get typecast as slot only. I have a real, I don't know, I guess a little PTSD from Justin Jefferson, being
there's
slot only. And when that guy can do anything.
No, there's nothing wrong with there's not to say a guy that does a lot of work in the slot can't go out and do work other places. But
he's got the size to play outside. He's not like I said, he's not 6'4", 220 like Galladay. But
it's like outside. A guy we both like, right? Like Sterling Shepard. When he's healthy, he does a lot of damage in the slot. But he can also move around and do things elsewhere. It's just that's a strength of his. And I think the same thing with Christian Kirk, both similar kind of similar. I mean, Kirk's a little bit more physical, but similar kind of players where Kirk can do a lot of that damage in the slot and also just be moved around to get creative with the offense.
Yeah, I see him as he's probably a little faster but less agile than Sterling Shepard, but good comparison. Mike, what do you think?
So I'm not gonna lie, Chad, in case you couldn't tell from my reactions, stole mine.
Okay.
I think the big downgrade with Indy, right, is we don't know their quarterback situation right now. So obviously there's the rumors of Jimmy G and stuff, but I definitely think he'd be a good fit there to match with Pittman. But just looking at other teams, I just have a feeling Kirk is gonna want to get the bag. I feel like he's not. He wants to get paid. He was a second rounder, so he's never really gotten it. This is his first big payday, right? So I kind of broke it out to the Jaguars or the Texans, to be honest. And I think as much as I'd like to have him go to the Jets, no, I am going to stick with the Jags just because they have more money. And I think Chark walks, like we talked about last time we talked about free agency. So take him to the Jags. Let him be that inside guy for Trevor, and kind of figure it out. I guess I don't know.
Right.
I'm sure old Dougie P can figure out how to use someone like Kirk. I think he's a good player. I think he's been miscast, like we said. So seeing him somewhere new, I think would be definitely good for his ceiling.
I mean, all right. So I have some confidence in Dougie P, but I'm not sure that he can figure it all out. So, I mean, Dougie P without Frank Reich is a different thing. And
Frank Reich without Dougie P was a different thing too last season.
So I would say that, yeah, that's true too. So I would say that's got very high upside, right? If Trevor Lawrence turns into what we think he's going to be, Doug Peterson understands how to use him. Yeah, man, Christian Kirk's a great guy for that offense. But obviously there's huge downside, right? I mean, what if Trevor Lawrence is what he showed he was last year, and it didn't really have anything to do with Urban Meyer? I don't know. We'll see. I just think I gave the Colts a 4, even though they don't have a quarterback, because I believe that Chris Ballard has a plan, is going to bring in a veteran quarterback this year. I truly believe that. But I think my opinion should have less to do with this game than it has previously. So the Jags have a quarterback, right? Where the Colts don't have any quarterback at all. They don't even have Jacob Eason anymore, right? Who is their backup?
I have no idea.
Obviously have to make a move, and what if that move is a rookie, and these rookies are, what if it's Desmond Ridder? Do you really believe in Desmond Ridder to make Christian Kirk a fantasy asset
I don't
this
view
year?
that with the team and how I think they view that team. I don't see that as likely.
I don't see that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I see a Jimmy G or a Kirk Cousins if that becomes the thing, or who knows.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, Mike, I want to make this a tie, but I have to say that, I just think the Colts are in a better position to make Kirk successful, and I believe that Chris Ballard is, I've said this on our podcast and Dynasty Fever podcast and the SmackDown as well, that I just think Chris Ballard is too good of a GM to not have a plan to bring in a real quarterback.
Tell us, Jesse. What other podcast were you on?
I was on Chad Mendoza live. No, but seriously, I just believe in his plan to bring somebody in. There's something going on there with him, and I hate to make this about opinion, but that's what we do, right? So, Chad, you get the point.
All right.
I mean, I'm giving the Jags a 3, and I'm giving the Colts a 4. The Jags are the Jags, and Trevor Lawrence has not shown that he can make you know what I mean? And Doug Peterson has not shown that you make a wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you,
And-
man.
So we're
Okay.
gonna move on. We're gonna move
Next.
on. All right, so we're tied. We're tied. Actually, no, we're not tied. So we had.
Yeah,
oh,
we
no,
are.
We are tied. Yeah, because we had a tie and then we had a 1-1. So we're tied. We're going to player number 4, which is Deshaun Watson, who today got cleared for all criminal charges, which means I don't know. In my opinion, it's a matter of days before he's traded.
Yeah,
I
for
saw
sure.
something today that told everybody to shut up about it being a matter of hours, right?
Yeah.
And I hadn't even considered that. You know, I didn't even realize that it like was that imminent, not eminent.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm betting this is close to the scenario. Like, to be honest, with what happened with the Broncos and the Russ, like Rodgers announced he was going back. Like, I don't think the Broncos GM was stupid. He's talking to other people and getting other trades as close to done as possible.
Yeah.
So, and then you see Russell Wilson soon after. So I wouldn't be shocked if it's tomorrow
there
or
are things
as
that-
early as
Right.
Monday.
There are things pretty much in place. I pretty much figure it's like, all right, this is what I have. This is my final offer from this team. All right, what do you have? And then this is my offer. You know, he's going to go between 4 teams and ask them, all right, what's your final offer? And that's going to take a couple of days.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right. So who did we start with last time?
Me.
All right, Mike, considering that Deshaun Watson has been cleared of all criminal charges, still has the civil stuff, may get suspended. I'm guessing it's no more than Zeke's 4 games, may even get reduced to like 2 games. I don't think it's going to be a major suspension. Where do you think he goes?
So, I mean, there's also more that goes into that too, right? Because number one, he has to waive his no trade clause, as far as I'm tracking.
Yeah, so it has to be where he wants.
And
to
then
go.
the team he's going to has to have enough to give up while still having enough there, to make him, relevant. I would think, like, I wouldn't want to go somewhere and be like, oh, hey, I have no idea who I'm throwing the football to anymore.
Right. And it's not just going to be, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shit ton.
Yeah. I think it's going to have 3 firsts in it. And how that happens, I don't know. I don't know if there's a team really set up to do that meets all of the criteria, that we just kind of broke down. Like Seattle, you could argue might now, but I don't know. I just don't see him wanting to go there. But so I'm gonna roll with Carolina because we talked about it earlier. Before the pod, has howdy to Austin in the chat, big Panthers fan out there in Durham or Charlotte or wherever he's at. But I just see that's his old stomping ground, and I would love for him to go there. I think they'll have to give up one of their key defensive pieces, whether it's Burns or Chin, or maybe even Horn coming off the injury.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Chin and Horn.
But I don't
firsts.
I just don't want to see a DJ Moore and a Christian McCaffrey go for fantasy purposes' sake. I feel like that's one of the best fantasy scenarios where he could go to, where, obviously, different. It's going to be a different OC and stuff, but I think he could really have a chance to thrive there, go to the East Coast, get out of Texas, still give him some weapons, and first this year, first next year, and 2 of their good defensive pieces that they got, and you might be able to get a deal done. Mike Kinney says, does Watson go for more than Wilson?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Of course.
Yeah.
Easily.
Just because of how much
younger. He's 7 years younger.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's shown to be an elite quarterback when he's playing and healthy.
Exactly.
I mean, he's never been unhealthy. That's the other thing.
Yeah. So I'd say Carolina.
What do you think, Chad?
So, okay, let me ask this question really quickly. Are we saying where we think they will go, or where we think would be the best spot? And
it's a combination of the 2. So, like, if you say a place that
because there's a place where you can drop him in this offense and it would become instantly a good offense. which
But
I
if
think will happen
but
for a
if
lot
he-
of offenses.
But
No,
he
listen,
has
listen.
no trade
So-
and he
and
won't
then-
go there.
No, so listen. So he wants to go to this place, right?
Mhm.
They have the capital to get him easily, by far more than any other team in the league, right?
Yeah.
But the
All right,
owner said they don't want to do it.
Before you go on any further, so my criteria, I have tried to mirror yours as best I can, right? So it's best fit,
Realism.
best fit, and best realism, right? A
Okay.
combination of the two.
Okay,
Then that's
so
what I've been
I'm just
trying
going
to
to throw
do
this
so
one out
far.
there then. So I'm just going to throw this one out there then. The New York Giants.
Oh, okay.
So
Make your point.
there's only one thing stopping Watson from going to the Giants. One thing and one thing only. It's that the owner has previously come out and said that it's not going to happen. This is before the charges were vacated, so things can change.
I
The
haven't even
Texans
heard
owner
that.
said that, or the Giants?
Giants.
So
The Giants.
I haven't even heard that, and I also find like media comments to be arbitrary.
Yeah, they asked him in
I
a
don't really care.
press conference after the firing of the staff, and he said no, it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't.
But
care
again,
about
that was before the charges were dropped and everything like that. You know,
Yeah,
presumption
that
of
means
innocence.
nothing to me. That means
Yeah.
nothing to me.
So, anyways, they have the 5th and the 7th pick in the draft,
Right.
right? They have
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley, who's been the discussion
huge
of trades.
ammunition. Ooh,
Yeah.
and Barkley.
They have Daniel Jones, who, if they're moving on from him,
Right,
you throw him
right.
in the trade, right? So you have the 5th, the 7th, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. You throw in one more future first, that's guaranteed to get it done. You might not even have to.
Jabril Peppers made it happen with Odell, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I know he missed the year, but he's still a hell of a player.
yeah. So, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's an example. I guess what I'm trying to say is they have a shitload of like young, good defensive players that they could trade.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, they have a ton of ammunition to go and get that trade done. They can make the salary cap situation work just by shipping off Daniel Jones and Saquon in that trade. And yeah, I mean, he wants to go to the Giants. It's been widely reported that was his number one destination when they were originally announcing teams was New York. He wanted to go to the Giants. So yeah,
man, it's a good argument, man. It's really good. All right, so I am going to throw out the owner comment, and I'm also going to throw out the "it's been rumored he wants to go there" comment. So like I'll make Giants a neutral, right? Man, that's a really good landing spot for him. It's really, really good. So if you look at it, and I'm going to say that Saquon doesn't go in that trade because I don't think they would do that. I think they have way too much invested in elite player that they want to pair elite players. So why would you? I think there's defensive players that you would rather add to that trade, right? And just the fact that they have the 5 and the 7, right, and Daniel Jones. So like you already have these 2 elite picks and a quarterback that is a maybe, right? I really like it. So like as far as what Houston would accept. So you might have to throw in your next, like your 2023 first as well.
Yeah.
Which is
But
fine.
if you're throwing Watson in there, it's probably going to be a later one anyway. So
Right, exactly. So like I've all along been like considering like what would an Eagles trade with Houston look like because they have so much draft capital and a young quarterback to throw in. So like the 15, 16, and 19 plus Hurts, I don't really think that's as attractive as the 5-7 Daniel Jones and a 2023 first. Like I would rather have the Giants package. Wouldn't you?
yeah.
Yeah. Because I see Daniel Jones and Hurts as actually kind of similar, right? Where they're just like young athletic quarterbacks that could hit their ceiling or could not. But if they do, man, they're Josh Allen. Sorry, not Josh Allen, because neither one of them has that arm. But
Nobody
if they
has
hit
that
their
arm.
ceiling, they're elite, right? Neither one of them has that crazy ass arm. But if they hit their ceiling, they're elite, right? So it could be like a Josh Allen type leap. So, man, I love that. I love that, Chad. You're getting the point for that.
I was gonna say give it to him.
Yeah,
I like it.
I mean, I hadn't considered it, and you kind of surprised me with it. But man, that's a great point, Chad. Good job. So Chad's up 2 points to 1, and we are moving on to, I mean, a lesser name. You know, that was exciting, but I think this one's interesting because he just got replaced. So Gerald Everett is a free agent. Noah Fant just got traded to Seattle. So Gerald Everett, he showed out a little bit, even though Russ was hurt for half the year. I mean, at the end of the year when Russ came back and like he had his couple games to get healthy and then got healthy, that was his guy. And it really was apparent that like he trusted him. So what do you guys think? Can he go somewhere and be fantasy relevant? Chad, what do you think?
I don't honestly think that he can go anywhere and be fantasy relevant.
Okay.
I think that, Seattle was, Seattle just seemed like such a great destination.
But Russ's season got so sidetracked.
Yeah, but for him to do nothing.
No, he didn't do nothing. At the end of the year, man, he showed out. He was like a fantasy starter in the playoffs. Like, lower end as a flex.
Yeah.
You didn't want him as your starting tight end, but he was a flex in a tight end premium.
Yeah, but that's, you're talking about a skill set where he should be one of the premier pass catching tight ends in the league.
Yeah, no, but he's not. We realize that he's not that at this point.
Yeah.
So as a role player, is there somewhere he can go and be a depth piece on your roster?
Yeah, I think gosh, I already said the Chargers. I think that would be a spot. I don't see any spot that. I think there's so many better options than him out there.
Yeah.
For tight end.
There's some tight ends out there. Not great tight ends, but they're like athletic profiles.
Because you even some of the ones that we put on the list, right? Like Ertz, I'd rather have Ertz. OJ Howard, I'd rather have OJ Howard. And those guys aren't even. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I like Gerald Everett personally. I like him over.
He's fine.
I think I like him over OJ Howard because he's actually done it.
Yeah, I'd rather have OJ Howard because if I'm putting a guy on the roster that's not in at least above average production wise as a pass catcher, then I want a guy that's a good blocker, and I think OJ Howard's a pretty good blocker.
Okay, that's a really good point because Gerald Everett can't block.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So, man, I might just give Mike the point because I honestly can't think.
Don't give him the point.
I was gonna say he better make a decision before you bait him into
Just
one.
Pick a team, dude.
Or just.
Gosh, all right.
Outside of Cleveland, there's no wrong answer, right?
I'll just pick the Chargers. Just throw him on the Chargers, and if
he
can't do it there,
like that.
So, it's got to be like the premierest of premier offenses.
I actually like the Chargers a lot. When we did this
I like it for him. I don't like it for the Chargers because I think the Chargers have better options. But
I like it for the Chargers. I think he and Parham are a good duo. Anyway, what do you think, Mike?
So
I don't think he's the piece of shit that Chad does, but
even guys that I don't think are good, like Evan Ingram, I'd rather have Evan Ingram than him.
Nope. Gotta catch the ball. You gotta catch the ball. That guy would never play for a team of mine. Gosh, I'm sorry. You know what?
Okay, we'll move on.
The underheard Mike Casper. I feel like we've been talking over this guy the whole.
All I was gonna say is. I wouldn't be opposed to him following Russ to Denver. What has Albert O done to get all of the hype that he's gotten? He's caught 30 balls in a season.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like Alberto hasn't proved he's awesome, amazing. Like he's good. Just people thought him and Noah Fant were kind of a similar type of skill set. And obviously, Fant's the first rounder. You don't want to pay him more and have to worry about re-signing him later. So go with the later round guy. Cool. Get somebody more experienced in there. I think Everett, and obviously Everett and Russ had something going. So I don't
they
imagine
had something going.
They had something going. I mean, he had almost 500 yards or whatever it was, but obviously Russ missed a lot of those games, right? So it wasn't much better for Ingram, man. So like, come on, there's like nobody in the free agent tight end marketplace that's done much of anything recently, I guess you can say. So
true. It's all speculation.
So I mean, and this would have to be on like a pretty friendly deal, just to be like, hey, I liked what I did with Russ. I'll follow him there, and we'll see what happens. Kind of.
I like the Chargers a little better.
Well, duh.
I do. I mean, it's kind of a shitty pick by you. Well,
I could have said the Chargers. Let's talk about it another time, and I'll say the Chargers, and then we'll see who Chad says.
I mean, it's
next tight end, Jesse. Next tight end.
Well, I mean,
Chargers. Okay.
Bottom line. I'm gonna give you the bottom line. One sentence. I like Albert O over Donald Parham, right? So that's why I like the Chargers.
Give me Albert O over freaking Everett, man.
I mean, you guys.
I'm taking the unknown over the guy who's been a 500 or 400 to 500 yard receiver for like 5 years straight.
Yeah.
He's kind of turning into like a Johnny Smith type of narrative and stuff, right? Like you're waiting for it, you just don't see it.
Yeah, you can't wait forever, man.
You guys knew Gerald Everett was on the list, and you both acted like, "Oh,
I left him blank."
I don't know.
I left him blank. I was like, "I'm not doing this."
I mean, I sent you this.
I assumed we'd talk about the more relevant tight ends like Ertz and
why would you assume that when
Howard
why would you assume that when I sent you the list earlier today, Mike?
They were up higher on the list, and your last mention.
Mike, I sent you the list, and we're going in order that I sent it to you.
No, we're not. You're reading from bottom to top. You read from top to bottom.
Sorry.
Top to bottom. Yeah.
Gerald Everett replaced
you can
Jameis
apologize.
Winston.
Thank you.
Because I had him on the list, and we did it on the Jerry Show.
Thanks. So you say sorry, Mike. Yeah, you were right.
Sorry, Mike. You still should have been prepared, no matter where he came on the list.
Neither of us were, because it doesn't matter.
I got excited about Everett going to Seattle, and never again will I be tricked.
Yeah, like I agree with that.
He's just not. No, I'm
Chad,
done with him.
I agree, Chad. I agree. But he is the type of guy that for 1 or 2 games this season, if you throw him in there, he might just get you a touchdown.
That's
depending on
tight end.
Yeah. So all I have to say is, if I were doing your quarterly review, I would say that it doesn't really matter where he comes on the list. You still should be prepared for every meeting.
I did. I was prepared. That was the one that you had to talk to for 10 minutes before he finally threw out the best tight end landing spot for any tight end.
All right.
Or free agent. Like, come on, bro.
All right, you still get it.
Compassion.
You're still getting a below average for that part of your review.
Where did you have him going, Jesse?
Gerald Everett?
Yeah.
Rams.
Moving on.
I always said that to me to be a dick.
All right. Who's next?
To do that.
No, I think you do really well in Tennessee. But moving on. Jimmy G.
The face Mike gave you when you said really well in Tennessee. AJ Brown's not even doing really well in Tennessee.
But they re-signed Westbrook Ikine, so
I believe in Tennessee. I think things will change, like progressively change as they need to. But anyway, Mike, Jimmy G is not a free agent.
No.
He'll need to be acquired by trade, but we know it's going to happen, right? So where's he going to go?
It's got to be Indy. I really don't see any other team that would, number one, trade for him and really like want their services. I think they want that safer quarterback that can guide them through almost Phillip Rivers-esque to a degree to get them back to the playoffs. I think Jimmy G can do that. He's got a good line around him. You know, he's like, do I think it's the right move
In
for
Pittsburgh?
them?
No.
I mean, Pittsburgh was one of the other ones I thought of, right? But
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. What was your answer?
mine was Indy.
This is Indianapolis.
Indy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Indianapolis.
Okay.
So obviously you got Pittman there. You know, maybe Campbell will come back, and I'm sure with all the money that they have in cap room now, it's not a rookie, you know, a free agent wide receiver, JT, you know, that I think that offense can definitely do something with Jimmy G. So I think a couple of picks will get it done, whether it's a second or, you know, maybe even a third or two. I just don't see Jimmy G staying there. So
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Right on. Yeah, that's self-explanatory. Chad?
Yeah, I got the Steelers. You know, I think he has enough wide receivers in that offense where he could, you know, just divvy the ball around and do just the bare minimum in that offense and be okay.
All right, so we can expedite this quickly. And I'm going to look at this from a dynasty point of view because it's a dynasty podcast. I feel like the Colts have a better offensive line, but lesser weapons, where the Steelers have better weapons but a lesser offensive line. So, like, looking at these as two good organizations that fix their problems, you know, and know what they need to do from a year-to-year basis, that both of those teams will fix their issues. And I think they're both excellent landing spots, and I'm going to give them both a 4, and that's a tie. I mean, I think anybody in the world would really look at that and say Pittsburgh, Indy, those are both really good landing spots for Jimmy G. Like, as far as him being successful for what he needs to do, they're both really good coaches that I think can scheme him into success, right? Where, like, Pittsburgh, they're gonna run the ball a lot, and they're gonna take a lot of pressure off of him. And Najee has already shown that he's a really good outlet receiver. So I think that's what Jimmy G needs. The Colts, I think that I really believe in Frank Reich as a designer of an offense, and I think he will design. Even though they have a lack of weapons, they have the line to go out there and just add some weapons and, you know, scheme him into success. Whereas, like, Pittsburgh's failing is that they don't have the line, right? But I believe in their franchise enough that they'll fix that.
Yep.
So I would give both of those a 4. I think they're both excellent.
Mike wants to push back a little bit.
No, I was gonna say, how do you guys like? I'm honestly kind of convinced that Pittsburgh is going to draft a rookie. I kind of don't see why not.
I think they want
I don't think
Malik
they're
Willis really
for
bad,
Jimmy
but it's
G.
not going to happen. He's not.
No, it's not
He's
gonna
not going
happen.
to fall there.
I
Not
think
by
they're
a
gonna
long
trade
shot.
up.
I think he's top
I think
10
they trade up,
talent.
but
if I was
Well, I don't know
a
if
betting
Malik-
man, I'm going for Winston there. I think Winston ends up in that offense.
yeah.
Interesting. I think
Maybe.
Winston stays in New Orleans, but interesting. All right, so Chad's still up.
Loser, Mike.
Yeah, no, I was tied. I was a tie. So Chad's still up too.
Well, I mean, we're getting close on time, Jesse. So maybe
All right, so
2 more. But.
I mean, yeah, we're actually all right. 2 more. All right, cool. I was about to ask you that. We're at 108, so that's up to you guys. All right, let's go Zach Ertz. So I think he showed last year that he still got the chops. He still got the receiving chops to be a top 5 receiving tight end. Chad, where do you think he's going to go?
Oh, he's got to stay. He's got to stay with the Cardinals.
Okay.
That's by far the best spot for him. I mean, he's shown in that offense that he could be the player he was, 3-4 years ago. I mean, he just looked on point in that offense. I don't see why you would leave that offense and risk being a lesser part of the game plan, even if the offense is just as potent as it is in Arizona. So I think he's got to stay. You don't leave that kind of success at your age.
Yeah, I mean, solid argument. I have zero arguments with that. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, so I kind of want him to go where everyone thought he was going to go last year anyways, which is to the Colts. Jack Doyle just retired. Go back with Frank Wright. They get in Jimmy G. Now, granted, this is they don't have the quarterback right now kind of scenario, right? But, they're not going to go with Eason or whatever turd burglar they have back there as their, backup quarterbacks right now. So Doyle retired.
Did you just say turd burglar?
I did.
Love it.
But yeah, like Mo Ali Cox isn't any competition there. And if Jimmy G's there, man, he could be his George Kittle 2.0, just quite a bit older, right? So I'd prefer to see him go to the Colts. I wanted him to go last year, so if he goes there this year, I don't know, like maybe he doesn't like what's going on with Kyler and his whole drama queen situation, and just kind of get out from that.
Love it. Actually, I love both of those. I mean, the Colts have a severe need for a tight end with Jack Doyle retiring and like just having nothing else. The Cards. I love to always side with continuity. He's in Arizona. He knows the offense already. He's coming back with the same players, and he fit really well. I have to go with what I said earlier. What's going on? What's going on, Mike? Mike is losing it over there. What is so funny?
Dude, it sounded like you threw up on your mic.
Did I?
You burped so big. Like,
what happened?
I was like, dude, that was gross.
Me? Did I make a noise?
Yeah, Mike and I were texting each other. It sounded like you vomited all over your mic.
Oh, I didn't even.
You're just like, like if you would have had the camera off, I would have asked if you were okay.
Just mid sentence, and just kept
I'm
going.
like trying to talk about this, and I see Mike just die in the background. I can't see Chad, so I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know. What did I do?
Oh man, that was really good. My stomach hurts. Sorry.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. All right. This is what it's all
So
about.
who gets the
I guess.
point?
Who won, Jesse?
All right. Let's try to get serious about this Zach Ertz shit. All right. Like
Who
I
won?
said,
Who won?
like continuity. No, nobody won. They're both fives, man. Like if we said,
nice.
if we said
Man,
earlier,
I thought I had that one. Poop.
seriously, if we said earlier that Chris Ballard has a plan and they're bringing in a QB and it's Jimmy G quality or Kirk Cousins quality, then it's a 5, man. Absolutely a 5 because yeah. So you guys, Chad's still up 2. Moving on. I don't know what I did. I don't remember making that.
No, it's
noise.
good, man. You played it cool. You just kept going like nothing happened.
I don't remember
just
even
like-
doing it.
It was just like it was like gross man, like TV sitcom
Wow.
level burp.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
I
good.
feel awful. I feel like I just killed the podcast for a second time.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Right
Let it
on.
out.
All right, Mike. All right, Mike. Where's Leonard Fournette going? It feels like such a letdown with Lenny, like Lombardi Lenny now. But
Lombardi
seriously,
Lenny.
this guy he's a top 10 NFL pick, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a lot better than
It's
people
so
says he
dogged.
was, right?
Yeah.
But hey, like where I want him going, not sexy. I'm not really sure what he wants. Like he got his trophy, he's gotten his bag as first round pick. Does he want another one? As far as bag of money
Who knows?
goes, like honestly, who knows? I see him going somewhere where he wants to be the workhorse role, right? And I think the Dolphins can do that for him. Stays in Florida, doesn't move that far because I just don't see him staying in Tampa with, unless they trade for Watson or something like that.
Right.
I don't see him staying in Tampa. So,
Yeah.
Dolphins, Tua, check down Tua, like short game Tua, whatever you want to call him. Like, I feel like it can be really close to, kind of what he did with Tampa Bay out there, and really kind of sees that role. There's nobody else there, but obviously the draft, we'll see what happens. But I think him going to the Dolphins would be probably one of the better fits. And people have been waiting for it for 2 years, right? For them to have a truly lead back, I guess you could say.
Say what you want about him, like, being checked down, sure, and short passing game or whatever, but
he's your son. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend.
Nah, you didn't offend
family,
me, but
yeah.
it's just it's a different coaching staff, and Brian Flores obviously didn't trust him, so we'll see what happens this year. Yeah. Chad, what do you think?
All right, so hear me out. So this one may not be as good for Dynasty, but I got super excited when I thought about this. What about Leonard Fournette putting on a Baltimore Ravens helmet, going over there with Dobbins, playing the Mark Ingram role? Dobbins coming back from an injury, so you kind of want to cement that second spot. And yeah, that's like your 1-2 punch, right? You have Lamar Jackson, you have Dobbins kind of being your satellite back, kind of being your scat back there, and just run it down people's throat with Fournette, kind of similar to what he was doing over there in Tampa and Jacksonville.
I mean, yeah, that's from our scoring standpoint, from an NFL fit standpoint, excellent, right? But from a dynasty or a fantasy standpoint, lose a little points because, there's competition, right? The competition he's going to be limited as far as touches. So, but like from an NFL fit standpoint, yeah, excellent. I do think that Fournette would be really good in with the Ravens. I think that's the kind of thing like
there's not really, other than the Dolphins, there's not really any teams where he could just go and plug in there and be the lead number one role.
Right.
Just unquestioned.
Right. So like I give the Dolphins a 5 and the Ravens a 4. Like you get a lot you get a lot of boost just because it's such a good NFL fit. Right, but it's not as good of a fantasy fit as the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know what style exactly that the Dolphins are going to run, but from what I know of their new head coach is that he does actually like to focus on power run game first. And we'll see how much that holds up. But yeah, I think Leonard Fournette is the type of guy that they would like to sign. I'm going to give Mike the win on that, but not by much. And only because of the fantasy implications, right? I think the NFL, as far as an NFL fit, the Ravens are probably a little bit better. I think that would actually probably be a little bit better for Leonard Fournette if he's just not the lead back. He's
imagine if Dobbins
probably not that guy right now.
Not wishing injury on anybody, but imagine if Dobbins comes back slow or does get injured in that offense. I mean, he's probably an elite dynasty player in that offense. Leonard Fournette is.
Actually, you know what? That's a really, really good point because, I mean,
like Mark Ingram was, when Mark Ingram was there. I mean, I just view it as the same kind of deal.
Well, I mean, so let's be fair. Because I've been harping on Jameson Williams as being a lesser fantasy draft pick. Maybe like I see him as like an early second, as a lot of people see him as a late first. So like I'm not hugely far off. But that's a really good point because if I'm saying he's not going to, not saying he's not going to, but there's a chance that he doesn't come back cleanly from that injury. Well, then there's a chance that anybody doesn't come back cleanly from that injury. And that applies to Dobbins and Gus Edwards both, right? So if they sign a guy and he's healthy and he comes out and takes the job, then who the hell is Dobbins? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could absolutely get Wally pipped. So yeah, I mean, it's a really good point, but I'm still giving it a 4. I was going to give it a 3, but I'm going to give it a 4. But Dolphins are a 5, man. That's a perfect fit right there, if you ask me. You know, it's a team that really needs a veteran back, and he's a strong veteran back that probably isn't going to command, you know, more than $5 or $6 million a year. So that's a point for Mike.
Hey, Jesse, I just have to say, I have never heard the term Wally pipped before, so I just had to Google that. I have never heard it.
Really? You've never heard that before?
I've never heard it either. I think
Really?
it's like a term from like the 60s.
Yeah, it's the term.
No, it's a term from
90
like
years. No, 90 years ago from
Thank you.
Wally Pipp losing his job to Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's an
I have never heard that before in my entire life.
It is the most famous case of a player getting hurt and then his backup coming in and taking his job. So Wally Pipp.
Whoa.
Tom Brady?
We're talking about Tom Brady, maybe? I don't know.
So Wally
Pipp Warner?
Wally Pipp was an all-star, right? And
does Wally Pipp have a movie? Kurt Warner has
and
a
then
movie.
Bledsoe, wasn't he in the
Pipp was
Super
an
Bowl like
all-star.
2 years before?
Wally Pipp was an all-star and then got hurt and then got replaced by Lou Gehrig and never started a game again for the Yankees. And Lou Gehrig has multiple movies.
Isn't that the guy that played the Hulk?
Today, I am the luckiest man on the planet. That's all I have to say. Like, come on, man. If you don't know who Wally Pipp is, dude, you don't know baseball.
Hey, let's close this out on something exciting. I kind of want to get Chad's opinion on something because Jesse and I just had a trade. Well, okay. First of all, Jesse, you can tell Chad he won. So hey, good job, you won.
Oh,
thank you. What are you talking about?
It was completely unexpected.
The game.
Oh, the game's done?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Chad gets a win on this? Ew,
yeah,
that's really gross.
Oh, didn't expect it. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Shut up.
So surprising.
But yeah, so Jesse and I did a trade and we're all in the same league, right? And it was just kind of an exciting one. So I wanted to see Chad's thoughts on it. I traded away Jamar Chase and TJ Hawkinson for Kyle Pitts and T. Higgins. And it's in the tight end premium.
Told him which side. Well, actually, he knows.
Well, I mean, it kind of doesn't matter,
yeah,
right?
he's in the league.
But so I just wanted to see what you thought about it. I thought it was kind of a fun little trade.
Well, you thought I was going to be like, well, I like Mike more, so
no, yeah. Apparently, Jesse thought that. Yeah,
pretty much.
Since I like Mike,
pretty much anything I do is like ridiculous.
Stupid.
But,
yeah.
All right, go on.
So you said Jamar Chase, TJ Hawk for Pitts and Higgins.
Yes.
Yep.
That's an interesting one because I think
I really felt like it was so completely like even.
Even, yeah.
And this is what
thought it was so
what's
even.
the premium? What's the premium?
0.5.
0.5. Okay. In a 0.75, I would say it's dead even. I'd rather have the Chase side than a 0.5.
Okay.
You know what?
Just because
you know what, Mike? Boom. Just because
you want to trade in Chad's eyes. Good job, Jesse.
Just because I get so little chance to like victory lap on you.
but like this is that's a trade that could look completely different, next year. Yeah. Right? Like it all depends on
like Jamar Chase gets hurt and then Higgins is the one there for the rest of the year.
But the way I looked at it is Pitts doesn't turn into what we all think he's going to, and Chase already has.
Yeah, I mean that's what separates it for me because I think a lot of people would argue me on this point, but I think that Higgins, and I have a lot of Higgins, but I think that Higgins and Hawk are both slightly overrated in Dynasty to me.
I love T. Higgins.
Both of them. And I love T. Higgins too. I think that people are paying wide receiver one prices for him.
Right.
Right. And
where I see him,
I think it's going to be
hard to have a number two getting
the best wide receiver, best wide receiver two you can get.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm not saying that he can't have wide receiver one finishes. I think he definitely can in that potent offense. But I just have a tough time without seeing it. Like I want to see it for a wide receiver two in an offense.
You like Debo did, you might be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the price on him is so high. And then with Hawk, right? Like, Hawk is undoubtedly extremely talented. But who knows when that offense is going to get together and
Right.
give him a season where he looks the part.
The quarterback
We just haven't
situation
seen
is
it.
so scary.
Yeah, I mean the whole offense is so scary right now, other than
Right.
that offensive line. So we'll just see how that goes together. But for the prices that they're going for, kind of the same with Pitts. They're all three kind of going as if they've already done it, right? They're
Although,
already
although
those
Chad,
guys.
you just made a really good point without, I don't know, maybe without trying, but I mean, if you have the offensive line first, the other pieces are easier to fill, I think.
Yeah,
You know?
I think
If you
I
know
think-
you're looking for a quarterback, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but so like and I'm not. I think the Lions are one of my kind of favorite up and coming teams as far as
Yeah.
the way that they're building the team. I love
Agreed.
it. But the problem is that at the end of the day, how they build the offense, with how they build the offense, the team still has a chance to not be filtered through Hawk the way that the Chiefs offense is filtered through Kelsey, the way that the 49ers offense was filtered through Kittle, right?
Right.
Like that's how those offenses were designed to go through those two players.
This
The
year.
Lions still have the chance to go in a different direction where they go through a Swift or they go through
Yeah.
another player that comes in on the boundaries at wide receiver. Like it's just not very developed yet. So it's just kind of a wait and see. And with the price
he's
that you're
such a-
paying for Hawk,
But
he's
such
talented.
he's such a supreme talent that like if a really good like above average quarterback were to come in there, you would think that like, you know, Hawk immediately takes a huge jump, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you would think, but again, I mean,
These are huge ifs.
yeah,
It's huge speculation and like I agree with you. I love the way Detroit's like building this team, but they have to get it right at quarterback. They're
Yeah.
gonna
And
have a
so-
shot. They're gonna have one shot and they have to get it right.
well, so when I'm saying that these guys are overrated, I don't mean they're very overrated. I just mean maybe slightly overrated. And just that we've seen Chase do it. We've seen Chase have that top 5, top 10 wide receiver season, right? And we know he's the premier guy there. When I see it from Pitts, and he looks like either the tight end 1, 2, or 3, because let's be honest, that's all that matters.
Mhm.
Then maybe that trade becomes dead. Even if it was that 1.75 premium, it's a little bit safer on the Pitt side, and maybe I'm saying, you know what, like you can't argue with either side there. Like
Right, because even if he has, not elite production, he still gets you elite fantasy production because of the bonus.
Well, yeah, and then also like if it's a 1.75, right, and he does become, it's not necessarily that the floor increases, it's just that if you don't have one of those top 3 tight ends and he becomes one of them, then you're so much better off than everybody else. Then it makes that deal worth it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, the whole deal hinges on whether Pitts hits to the degree that everyone expects him to, right?
Yeah.
So Chase has
'cause
already hit. I feel my side is
hits-
safer, but Mike's side has the better upside.
If it was 0.75 premium and Pitts hits, and he's even tight end 2 behind Kelsey the next couple of seasons for like this season and next season.
Yeah, it's a loss
then
for me because
I'd rather have
receivers
him
are
over
replaceable.
Chase no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
So-
agreed. But it's 0.5, and we'll see. Because like I said, when I saw it come to me, I was like, man, that is an exactly even trade, and I had zero Chase, so and had lamenting the fact that I took zero Chase last year because I just was never really in a good position to take him. I don't know. It just never really worked out. So I got it, and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah. Good trade, guys.
It was fun. Hey, take those big swing, guys. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. All right, guys. Like, amazing episode. I know it's supersized, hour and a half. We're just hitting 1:30 right now. But man, I think we dispensed and absorbed a lot of fantasy information right now. Holy shit, is this going to be fun come Monday? Right? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
already been ridiculous. It's already been ridiculous, and tampering hasn't even started. So,
Yeah.
man, next week's show, I apologize. I may or may not be here, but we will have Clay, not Clay Matthews, but Mr. Baby, Mr. Baby from DWZ fame. We've had him on before. He's an amazing guest, and this is going to be possibly the first episode I ever miss. We'll see. I may be able to jump in on my phone, but
We'll
No,
figure it
we
out.
won't let
We'll
you.
hold it down.
We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. No, I mean, please.
We'll keep you blocked. You can watch the stream with the rest of the
Supreme faith in you, gentlemen. You will hold it down. I know that. So, anything you guys have to say before we go?
Nah, man. Sign
Nope.
us off. Take us out.
Can I have your Twitter handles?
I don't
Yay.
know mine.
Mine is DWZ Mike. Should be posting more. Woo!
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have almost 4 kids. Come on, guys. Give me a-
I run DWZ_war games. I mean, that's my Twitter handle. I run that. So, if you guys hear that or see that, that's me. Anyway, join us next week. We will be back at our regular time, maybe, but that's up to the gentlemen that are across from me. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Later.